Okay, after several technical difficulties, we're ready to get started. So, hope you all have gotten enough of the desserts, and I happen to feel very fortunate that I'm right by the dessert table. So, welcome everyone to DevLearn and to my talk on mastering the possibilities with iSpring TalkMaster. My name is Sheyahshe, and I am here at the conference and at the exhibition booth at the iSpring booth, so come by and see me if you have additional questions. I'd like to give you both a high overview of TalkMaster and how to use it for branching scenarios, as well as get to some questions and some technical details. So, a little bit about me, and then we'll move on to the actual stuff. I am several years in the e-learning industry, about almost 2 decades now, 20 years. I have a BA in film and one in native studies, an MFA in 3D modeling for games and simulation. I also have a book out about pop culture. It's Native Americans and comic books, and I have here because I've used several tools along the way in e-learning, including iSpring and other development tools. So today, I'd like to talk to you about, and if you have to tweet or want to get with me later, here's my email. Sheyahshe at Gmail or mass.edev. I'll show those at the end of the file later. So today we're going to talk about branching using TalkMaster, and we have heard this buzzwords over the years as e-learning developers and programmers. It's not just a buzzword. I think we all can accept that branching can add a little bit of enhanced learning, can add a little bit of an interactivity, and can specifically tailor your responses and allow some interaction and not just page turning for your audience. So when I talk about branching today, that's what I'll be talking about using iSpring. There's plenty of resources and real research, real hardcore research that you can look up. A lot of it is available on the Guild website. This is one of them I just picked out. And again, it doesn't go into the details of the research, but it's a high overview. This one's by Jacqueline Bissett, and it's a little older, but one reason I wanted to talk about it is the important part for me, and I'll come back to this in a moment, is this is my idea of branching. It's the choose your own adventure scenarios. And for those of you familiar with the books, we'll talk about those in a moment. So, I chose iSpring as my development tool because I've used several tools. I like them all. They're all really good. I like to use the TalkMaster because I like the innovation that it allows to be created. I like that it has ready-made assets and human photographs that are tied to emotion that can be connected to your responses. Thank you. How did they know? I like HTML5 ready stuff, and this is very cool. So I've put this type of stuff on phones, on iPads, so and I actually demoed some stuff at DemoFest in Austin recently. So, and we'll talk about some use case scenarios a little bit later, like how would you use TalkMaster? You can use it for sales, frequently asked questions, and others, but I'll show you those in a moment. For those of you that actually use iSpring or have that suite, make sure you update. The updates that are really important for you to see are the ability to send scores to email or server or person to that particular learner. You can have the simulation actually have actions on it. You can have hyperlinks within them, spell checker, audio, and many more. So if you haven't updated, make sure you do so. That way you get all the good stuff you're supposed to get. Brownies not included. So again, getting down into the actually how to do it, one thing that we have to say first is when we're creating these, there has to be some thought beforehand. And how many of are designers rather than programmers, instructional design people, so that you know that you have to storyboard it, you have to have your scenarios. But today, we'll be looking at creating one just sort of ad hoc. But you have to create those situations in which you actually have enrichment and different branching scenarios. So. This is where I get a lot of my ideas. A lot of my childhood on the farm, isolated from everyone, was a mail-a-book service. Has anyone ever heard of a mail-a-book service? That's where you actually don't get to go to the library and they mail them to you. So I waited every week for my different episodes of Choose Your Own Adventure and several other books. So it stuck with me, but one thing that I think about as this type of environment is these were fun as a young adult. These were fun as a kid. But that experience stayed with me, not just because I loved reading, but because the experience was something I could go back and do differently. I could put my fingers in the pages and make a different choice next time. So as I continue in the e-learning industry, I like to create the experiences that are user-centric, learner-centric, ones that stick with the learner, and maybe hopefully tied to some objectives if you're writing up a story. This is what we'll be looking at here in a moment, and when I talk about how TalkMaster is node-based, I'll get into that in a moment, but you see the little lines and splines from picture to picture. This is sort of what you would see in iSpring, and we'll get into the actual tool in a moment, but I just kind of wanted to show you what it would look like editing something in this atmosphere. So again, we're creating simulations that can branch off one from another based on user response. So let's take a quick look at some of these. It may take a moment to open these in HTML. They're going to open a different window. I'll make this maximize. This is one on sales. Okay, we're going to start over. Okay, so this is a finished product. Now again, we'll be making one that's a little different, but I just wanted to show you what you could do, and then we'll talk about how to do that in a moment. So as a learner or user, I come in, I read about this, I look at the information. It's not showing me, sorry. There we go. Sorry. All right. So I will start over. Not completely. I'll restart this dialog. So again, this is a simulation that you would see, and again, I'll show you about 3 different ones, and then we'll talk about how to create those inside TalkMaster. So this is one that would be if you were a car salesman or someone selling, and you needed to train those people how to sell and how to interact with the public. This would give you an idea. First, you introduce a topic, then you give them a choice. They're interacting with this virtual person. And again, on the right, you notice that there are indications whether that person's happy, sad, mad, glad, all that. And so she's come in and she's waited for a couple minutes, then she's picked one of these, and now, hey, that was a pretty good job. So you got some feedback, the customer's still happy, we can continue. Again, these are branching off. Sonic Youth. These are branching off into different scenarios. So, and here's another way to introduce yourself. Reminds the person selling there's other ways to do this. It can go beyond that. We can restart this one. This is a branching scenario that includes audio. Now it's going to be a little hard to hear, but when we start it, you can hear when you finish it. Okay, so it's HDMI out. So that little circle is indicating audio, and each one of these sessions, each one of these little branches has its own audio that you can put in, okay? And each one of these has individual audio on the branch, the response, and the segment afterwards. So, and then one final one, let's get back to the presentation, is using it as frequently asked questions. Okay, now we're going to get to the frequently asked questions. This whole thing was the demo I mentioned at the Austin e-learning guild conference recently. This is one I created, but again, all in iSpring. If we go about this demo, we get to the frequently asked questions. This is based on a theme. If any of you have seen Ash versus Evil Dad, that's based on this theme. It was sort of a tongue-in-cheek way to present something, but you can take these same ideas and have just a list of frequently asked questions and allow someone to branch in. So we're asking about the demo, who made it, I made it, okay, we were able to put some, write it in tongue-in-cheek, sort of joking mode. We can restart and go back to the beginning. What was used to make this, again, we get a different indication each time. So, you guys aren't seeing it? This likes to see the presentation only, so here we go. Okay. So here's the one, you can see Ash versus Evil Dead. This is a 3D character. Okay, and I'll go back to the beginning on this so you can see. And going about this demo and into the interaction. Again, simple FAQs, but put in the branching scenario so you can see images and pictures and now audio if you wanted in each of these. Again, these are some interactions that I wanted to show you as finished products. And now we'll talk about how to do these within TalkMaster. This particular character is one that I made. Now you can use the pre-built ones that allow you to have the emotion built into it, the happy, sad, glad, whatever. This is one that I used in mine, and so I created those custom images myself, but you can do both. So let's go back and take a look at this. So first, as we take a look at it, we'll take a look at TalkMaster opening it up. I just want to show you how to do so. In my particular case, you can use it as standalone, but I use it in PowerPoint. I'll go back into my PowerPoint and I'll show you the screen so you can take a look. We'll go down to one that I've used here, but all you do is go to the slide that had the simulation and begin editing. I just want to show you some of these items as you first open it up, and then we'll go and talk about what each one is. So, just in case I need to update. Circle, circle, circle. Alright, really thinking about where the files are, sorry. When this opens, I will, oh here it is, sorry. I will go back then and show you some of the areas in each. You'll see this is just a simple one I created to have placeholders today. And again, you see the splines. I'll go into each of these. Let's go ahead and take a look inside one of these. This is the area where you would do the most editing, where you would do the creation of those things that we just saw. But let's take a quick look, not at that, at our presentation. I have to get out of this for a moment. So let's take a quick look at the different parts of what we just saw. So when you first open it up, you'll see several fields in that little scene. You'll create your first scene, as you saw me do when I opened it up in TalkMaster. There's several areas you can look at. 1, 2, and 3 are the content, images, and properties. You'll use that the most. Within section 4 and 5, the properties and speech is where that information comes up. Then you'll choose, and that'll be the area that you will edit to create these things. And then we can also assign an emotion, like I mentioned, with these pre-built characters, these photorealistic human pictures. And then, of course, we can add replies, which are your choices for your learners. So in the main content area, this is where you would add an introduction. Hi, I'm a customer. I need to look for a car. Or you are a salesperson on the floor. This is what you do. We introduce our topic. Again, some of the storyboarding and creation of designing it up front. We would assign our images, and I'll show you that in a moment. In fact, let me go ahead and just show you that. Let me go back. And let's go down to our TalkMaster and open it up, and you can see where you can put images in. And you notice I already have a human character here. We can change that character, but she also has different emotions. Now you'll see, similar to what we just opened it up a moment ago, we have our section where we would add information here. You can edit it, you can add textual information, you can have replies. Each of these replies, let's add a new one. But let's first look at the image properties. So here's the character, here's different characters. Notice each one of these has a little smiley face next to it, meaning that it can be assigned automatic facial expressions to go with that. And what I mean by that, and let's just pick anyone else just to give you an idea. Let's change our character to that. Let's make her mad to start with. Let's make her unhappy. And so you can control this both here as you begin, which would show up on the main scene. And then you can change it each time depending on that person's response. And I'll show you that in a moment. Let's go on to the background. There's several pre-made backgrounds. Or as you guys saw a moment ago, you can add your own. I had a forest. But again, these just show up behind the character. So then you'll say, okay, when we're done. As we create new scenes, notice I just have a few here. Let's add a reply or another choice. We'll say this is reply 3. Oops, typos. And we would make that longer, of course, but then we can just take this and drag it out and we have a new scene. Okay. That's the node-based information I mentioned. Again, I'm creating a little spline and node Notice it takes that same character I just used and all the emotion and all the information in the background. If you look at the images and properties, same image, same background, but we can change this now. We can make this person happy based on that choice if we wanted to. And again, that comes out on the screen that I showed you the previews of. So let's take a quick, we'll go back and take a look at some of the other functions, which are the replies section, which we just went over that. That's where you add the choices. You can also add just a message. On some of those a moment ago you saw where there wasn't another choice, there was just a message. Well, yes, that was good, but, or that was the right choice, and you could have thought of this. This is where you would maybe end your branch, or allow the person to start completely over in some cases. Go ahead and save that so we can see it. Go back and take a look at some of the other elements. And have any of you currently used TalkMaster or used it previous? For those of you that may or may not be familiar with node editing, that little spline or line that I create, we kind of borrow that information or that term from composite editing, like go to After Effects or that sort of visual composite. And so it's just a way to plug in some values to others. Visually, it's a way for us to edit in TalkMaster, going from scene to scene without having to go, okay, I know I go back if I go this way, and I go forward if I go this way. And if any of you created branching scenarios in other tools, or even done them by program, meaning HTML or some other way, you know you have to kind of remember where you're going and how to get back. And it's always better to automate these things. At least, in my case, there's fewer errors. So. We already took a look at the branching again. We just pull it out. Or we can make all our scenes and pre-write them and then connect them node to node or element to element. Or as you saw just a moment ago, you can grab it and just pull it out. And it begins creating one on the last one that you created. So the message again is where you would use sort of as an ending, or by the way, here's more information, rather than giving them a choice. But you can still connect from another node to that. Some things to think about on the new enhancements, making sure the player is customized. Let's take a look at some of that. Go back here. When you're customizing the player, you'll see this preview. There are several sections. For instance, on this first part, you could talk about changing the title, or showing the title, or not showing the title. You could show the entire presentation. Going on, you can also look at the color scheme. You could add built-in color schemes, which are shown here. You could do your own color schemes. Any of you that have done themes or colors in Microsoft Word will be familiar with this. Then, of course, making sure that your messages, your individual messages, like restart, change that to start over, or whatever your verbiage is at that time. This is where you do it. All the player options are here, so that when you see it, it looks just like what you want. And of course, as you're previewing slide by slide, each of these you can restart in your preview mode that you're seeing here, so that you can see how it looks start to finish after all your changes. So, again, some of the ability to add voiceovers or audio inherent within TalkMaster, and those of you that have used iSpring know that the audio editing suite is very robust inside iSpring. Everything can be done inside, and we'll do that for inside TalkMaster's editing right in the voiceover section. You can add it to any scene or any response. You can do several things with it. As you can see, here's what happens when you open that voiceover section. You can record audio, import audio you already have, edit audio if you recorded it and maybe had a verbal hiccup, or you have some audio that needs a little bit of cleanup. There's an actual editing tool inside. Again, you can bring in external, you can delete it. You can export your narration script if you need to for your person doing voiceover. You can import that as well. So there's a lot within it. It's very robust. I encourage you to try it, check it out. I will not be recording audio today. But again, you can see, go slide by slide. In this example, you see those previous replies I had created in that demo just a moment ago with the woman in the guitar shop. So, some things I just want you to think about as you're creating, period, is make sure that we focus on interest. allow the learner or the user to actually have a sense of control to either go back or forward or restart or have a new experience each time, make it as robust. But these are just tips that we think of as a design perspective, not specifically about TalkMaster itself. But what I wanted to do is talk about tips to the e-learning generalist. If you use audio, make sure it's decent. Make sure someone can enunciate if you are using an audio talent. And again, use TalkMaster to edit inside all-in-one tool if you like. So what I really wanted to do was get down to your interest in what you wanted to talk about in TalkMaster or what you're interested in hearing about TalkMaster. So I've given you a very high-level overview. If any of you have questions, I'd like to talk about that now. So, while I do that, I'm going to put my information if you want to contact me directly or tweet. Any questions?